Hi everyone, Shalom. Thanks for joining me. So when we celebrated Passover by Zoom almost 9 months ago, I don't think we ever could have imagined that we would still be doing the same thing around now for Thanksgiving and now Hanukkah. But sure enough, here we are. You know the saying that patience is a virtue. And indeed, patience is counted as an important spiritual practice in Jewish life as well. We see many examples of patience in the Torah. Joseph, one of our ancestor Jacob's 12 sons, has to wait many years until he's reconciled and reunited with his brothers. The Israelites have to wait 250 years in slavery until God grants them the gift of freedom. The Israelites again have to travel 40 years in the wilderness until they reach the promised land. And sure, during these narratives, there are moments of impatience. The overriding theme, I think, of these narratives is that this time span, this experience of having to have patience, actually serves a purpose. The characters have to learn to live with waiting. They have to learn to live with this kind of uncertainty, and they have to practice patience, and eventually they are rewarded for it. So I've been thinking a lot about patience these days, as you can imagine, because I found it to be a really important tool for coping with the circumstances that we all find ourselves in still at this time this year. We're so used to having everything at our fingertips, to running out to grab any kind of food that our heart desires, to jumping on a plane to go anywhere on the planet within just an hour or a few hours or a day's time. We're able to jump in a car and go visit friends at any whim, at any time that we want to. But now everything is different and we need to have patience. We need to plan and we need to prepare and we need to do a lot of waiting. So let's take a look at our holiday of Hanukkah. Like most things in Judaism, Hanukkah has its surface meaning about candles and lights and presents and food and gathering and celebrating with our families, but it also has a deeper spiritual meaning. And I think one of those deeper spiritual messages of Hanukkah actually has to do with this virtue of patience. So first, of course, when we think of Hanukkah are the beautiful lights, the candles. And you know that we light the candles one each night, increasing gradually. So why do we do this? Often we say that it's to replicate the miracle of the oil that lasted for 8 nights. But if that were the case, we would actually start with a lot of candles and go down a little bit each night, which is how the oil worked. We started with a lot and gradually got down to a little. But in Judaism, we know that we have this principle of going up in holiness. We never decrease light. We always increase. We're a people that always attempts to add more light and more warmth and more holiness to the world. And I love that message, and I honestly think about it every year at this time of Hanukkah. But this year, our strange experience of being forced to slow down, being forced to wait, being forced to develop our characteristic of patience, I'm looking at the Hanukkah candles a little bit differently. When we light the candles, we do it a little bit at a time. And so we have an opportunity to appreciate each candle alone and then add it to the others. And only after consistently lighting those candles for 7 nights can we fully appreciate the display of 8 bright candles in their fullness on the final night. Lighting the Chanukiah this year, I think, can be an expression of our growth in this quality of patience. Lighting one candle represents the small steps that we're taking to appreciate where we are here and now, to practice patience, and to find calm in this uncertainty that we all face. Paying attention to one candle at a time, one day at a time, trains us to go slowly and not to rush through the journey just to get to the destination. Practicing patience allows us to see each day's candles are beautiful, and that it's this blessing that we actually are allowed to increase beauty and holiness and light each day. If we had lit all 8 candles right at the beginning on the first night, then we'd miss all the drama of this gradual crescendo to this full light. So Judaism teaches us, just with this simple ritual of lighting Hanukkah candles, that patience is important and that we can appreciate the gradual increase of light each day. The second aspect of Hanukkah that's really resonating with me this year is the history that actually leads to the celebration in the first place. Hanukkah literally means dedication, and it commemorates the dedication or the rededication of the temple in Jerusalem after it had been destroyed by the Greek army. In Israel, in the year 167 BCE, the Greek Empire was on a march to take over the Holy Land and to convert all the Jews to Hellenistic culture. Their goal was to force the Jewish population to adopt Greek names, to pray to Greek gods, to eat Greek food, and to assimilate fully into Greek culture. But there was a small band of Jewish soldiers based in one family called the Maccabees, and they decided to rebel against this movement. They fought against the Greeks to take back the Jerusalem temple. It was a losing battle, and ultimately the Maccabees do lose. But for a period of time, the Maccabees are able to reclaim the temple, to clean it, rededicate it, and return it to a functioning, holy Jewish center. This history really speaks to me this year because it's very much about an uphill battle. The world around them was falling apart. There was war and destruction and a huge, really impossible threat. And yet slowly, with patience, with hard work, with faith, this family of Maccabees was able to bring light and holiness back to Jerusalem. Now, this accomplishment was not done in days or even in weeks. The revolt of the Maccabees went on for 7 years. 7 years of one small tribe of Jewish soldiers fighting against a world-class army. I believe that even the Maccabees themselves knew that they couldn't hold on forever, but they had patience and they had perseverance, and they did what they could with what they had for as long as they could to keep the temple in Jerusalem holy as a center for Jewish life. So as we in our day and age today continue to cope with our confusing and frustrating and really uncertain world, I hope that we can find some meaning in this practice of patience. Hanukkah is a beautiful celebration of joy, and we can appreciate all of the fun and the brightness that Hanukkah brings. And I think especially this year, Hanukkah can help us practice this virtue of patience, lighting one candle at a time, remembering that the rededication of the temple took many years to accomplish. Patience and working slowly for a better future, these are Jewish values that surely have been with us for many generations and that I believe will continue to strengthen us in the weeks and months ahead. So I wish you a Chanukah Sameach, a beautiful and bright and light Hanukkah, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.